Hello and welcome to my shelter-in-place room. This is where all of my looms are, and just some thoughts about the past couple of weeks. With all that's gone on, I think we're all stressed and have a lot of anxiety. And so I thought I would share with you what I do when I have a lot of anxiousness and a lot of stress in my life to try to keep things under control and to quiet my mind so that I can actually function better. And one of the things that I do is work at the loom. And so today I'm going to show you some of the things that I do in order to set up a project and actually do some weaving and let you see. Now, I'm not trying to convince everybody that if you go out and buy a loom and weave, you'll all of a sudden be very calm and even-minded about everything, but finding some creative outlet that you can do to help get your mind off of all of the other things and let it sit in the background for a while, I think is very helpful. So for this project, I first start with any project, I start with finding a pattern that I like. Our study group with the Dallas Hand Weavers Guild is using this book for our study this year, and I chose a pattern out of this book that I thought would make a really good rug. And so the one up in the top corner is the one that I decided to do. Now that's square, and I wanted rectangle, so then I have to modify the pattern to make it work for me. So the next step is I put the pattern on my iPad so that I can actually see what the loom is going to do when I weave. And so I have this pattern, and I decided how I was going to change it to make it into a rectangle. The actual process of setting up the loom can be pretty complicated. So we're going to walk around and look at the different things that I have to do in order to get the loom set up. So the first thing we have to do is measure out all of the yarn. And the yarn is, the way it's put in here, there's a cross here, and every other yarn goes either over this one, and then the next one goes over that one, and it works like this. And the pegs are spaced a yard apart, and so I needed 4 yards of yarn, and I need nearly, for this particular rug, I needed nearly 500 pieces of yarn. So it's very important that you're able to keep all of that yarn organized. And so that's what this helps you do. And then you put sticks through it and remove it from here and bring it back over to the loom. And then at the loom, the yarn is put through what's called a reed. This reed has spaces 8 to the inch, and so there are 2 pieces of yarn in each of the slots to make this a 36-inch wide rug. And that helps keep the yarns straight and organized so that they don't get tangled as they're going through. Weaving on a loom is just like weaving a pot holder, over, under, over, under, over, under. And how the over-unders work is what creates the visual pattern. So we're going to put the yarn through these frames here, and which frame they go through and in the order they go through is what makes the pattern. And so all of these are going through, and then there are treadles, which are pedals. I've had lots of people tell me, no wonder I like this, it's just like playing the organ because I have pedals down there and stuff up here. And that's partially true. These frames move up and down, and the treadles, so that one has 1 going up and 7 going down. This one does the opposite, 7 going up and 1 going down. Then all of the pattern ones do different numbers of them going up and down, and the sequence of the weaving is what determines what the actual visual pattern is. So once the threads are through the reed and through the heddles, they're tied onto the back beam, and then all of the yarn is wound around this piece, and that's where it's held while we wait. So here's all of the yarn that you can see all spread out. I used 8 different colors of yarn in a sequence to make this color. And if you come back here to look up, you can see the heddles, and it visually shows what the pattern looks like by how the heddles are moving. So we have this section and this section, and then we have these sections here, and here's like a V, and that shows up in the weaving, and so it's very visual when you're looking at the pattern. So we have all of this complexity, and in order to do all of this and to make the weaving work, it really does help settle my mind. And then there's the actual rhythmic part of the weaving itself. So let me show you that. So when I'm weaving, one of the things that I do, each of the sections of this rug is a 3-thread section. And so I use 3 of the treadles and repeat them a certain number of times. So right now I'm going to use 3 treadles and do it twice, because that's what the pattern requires at this point. So I say the numbers of the treadles so I keep track of where I am, and this is 1. And this is 8. And this is 2, and that's the 3rd one of the 3. And then I do that again. 1, and 8. Sometimes things catch. And then 2. And this process, for this rug, it'll probably take something between 700 and 800 of those throws of the shuttle to make the 5-foot-long rug. And so with the weaving, as I get to know the pattern better, and I'm weaving and I'm not trying to explain to somebody else what I'm doing, it helps me stay calm, and I can put that in the background and think about other things. So not everybody would enjoy doing the weaving. I know I have friends who would do jigsaw puzzles, and that would just raise my stress level, and I'm sure working at the loom would raise their stress level. So we need to find the thing that helps keep us calm so that we can be well-functioning adults and be kind to the people around us.